Hey guys, it's Matt. I just wanted to check in today, Tuesday, because the presentation that I said I was working on Saturday when I went over my notes is it's finished, but it's just massive. I think if I did it today, it would be 2.5 hours or more. I have to cut it down a bit. So it will be when it's available. It will be on Free Voice, and it will be tomorrow or Thursday. Um, it's it might be close to 3 hours now, and I just it's just too long. I have to clean up the parts that really, are just superfluous. Is that the right word? Superfluous. So I will do that, and then I will pop back in on YouTube saying it's on Free Voice. It'll be tomorrow or Thursday. But if you didn't see Saturday's video, I just was talking out my rough notes and just a very detailed presentation that the world isn't very real at all. And I've kind of seen all I need to see. And I think a lot of you are kind of with me. And you just simply can't use regular explanations to explain things away anymore. I just talk about a lot of different proofs or things in the presentation. And I think through some of it, you'll say, yeah, I mean, we should have seen this 5 years ago. I mean, especially the way this thing's being presented now, it's a joke. This thing is 1,000 times larger than the 7-Eleven when the 7-Eleven job application was submitted in 2001. It's 1,000 times larger, and people still think at every level this is being coordinated by people making phone calls. It's just no. The reality itself needs to be called. I don't know. Well, I've always called it not milk, but it does, for the most part, need to be named. It acts as if it's alive. It shows all sides what they want to see or what they expect to see. Just the amount of conspiracy that we've come across. Not that you might not be interested in all this, but just the amount of conspiracy that exists in this world. Um, Again, maybe our group is focused on a little bit different thing, but you'll come across a conspiracy video about aliens or a certain type of benevolent alien or malevolent alien or reptilian, or just the amount of conspiracy is just no way a normal world could produce this much evidence, because all the people investigate, say someone that investigates aliens, that's not our thing. For the most part, people that watch channels like this, it's not really. Some people, but for the most part, I know the group here pretty well. It's not really our thing. But if we think about it, inside that one genre, there's 20 different breakdowns. Are all these people crazy and just lost? And because they would look back at us and think we're crazy, lost. An alien researcher would stumble upon a video by Matt and say, this guy's talking about every single event they present on the news of a certain type is completely fake, and Elon Musk is just some actor. And I mean, they would look at us and think we're crazy. So each group believes wholeheartedly in what they investigate. And they're not because they're crazy or misguided, because the evidence is given to each group. This is no normal reality could pull this off. It's a joke. I mean, we're not the only ones that have real findings and evidence. Again, we might people that investigate crop circles. I think crop circles are fascinating. I don't know why we don't talk about it more. It's not just some guy with planks on their boots running around. I mean, unless every documentary's faked, every image is faked. I mean, who knows what's going on there? If you look at some of the pictures, it's incredible, absolutely incredible. I don't know why we don't talk about it more. But we'll kind of like, okay, what we research matters, and we have real evidence. But they're just those people are doing. But see, they're getting real evidence and testimony and things, and they're looking at us, going, oh, these guys investigating their fake events and constant 7-Eleven job applications. Let it go. So every group is getting kind of what it wants. Every group is getting what it expects, and the reality feeds it. Not people coordinating all this. The amount of conspiracy by itself, that's all you need to know. It's a joke. I mean, you could just list a whole chalkboard. You ever see a movie or a cartoon where it's just chalkboard just filled with somebody like have to write after school because they were bad, or like a mathematician with all these complicated. I guess I'm thinking of the movie The Time Machine, probably about 15 years ago, the last reiteration of H.G. Wells's fraudulent work. H.G. Wells is the biggest fraud of the system of all time. You know, I love to talk about H.G. Wells. And the actor, I can't stand the actor that they got, the main actor in that Time Machine. You know, where the moon splits, that one? It's an interesting movie, but boy, I can't stand that actor. Although the only decent role he was ever in was The Count of Monte Cristo. The Count of Monte Cristo from about 20 years ago. I know it's been done a few times. Is an incredible movie. I mean, it's really well done. It can be funny, but anyway. So the H.G. Wells, I'm thinking of the movie. He has this blackboard with all this math and everything. So the point is, we could do that same blackboard with every single conspiracy anybody, quote, in our general bucket has ever looked at. Even inside Kennedy by itself, there's a whole group of researchers that can show you piles of information as to why Cuba and Castro was involved, and they'll believe every bit of it. They're not crazy. The reality is the event horizon reality. It's showing it to them. It's giving it to them. This is completely impossible. There's no real world that could do this. It's completely artificial. Then there's another group of Kennedy researchers that would say, oh, it's the mob because of what RFK was involved in putting mobsters away. And then they'll have a whole host, they'll have names and people that were creepy characters. And then they'll have people that was talking about the military-industrial complex did it because Kennedy threatened to get out of Vietnam. And they'll see that the evidence is there for each group. What else? You have the potential Russians because of Lee Harvey Oswald's fictitious trip in that storybook to Russia, and then he came back. So the Russians are involved, and there's even another group. Oh, the Fed, of course. The Fed. He was gonna finally audit the Fed, and the bankers did it too. So for each that by itself, you can't go decade after decade after decade with the same police lineup of who done it people regarding Kennedy. In the real world, like something would rise to the top, and you know what I believe. I don't know what I can say anymore on this platform, but all those things that I listed out, I don't believe it was any of them. I don't buy any of it. Okay, so in other words, I'm not crazy. I might be now, but I don't think so. I have all the evidence. I could present very competently at a podium for 2 hours saying why on that day nothing happened, nothing, and the evidence to me is overwhelming. And I don't. The people that do the other research, we see they're smart people. They're not all lost or just dummies. The reality is the event horizon reality. It shows people what they want and basically what they expect. And if anybody's thinking that's a mere reflection reality for the most part, it is. It is. And what has it's kind of like do the minions on behalf of something float the conspiracy, and then if enough people gain traction on it or get a critical mass, it kind of like inserts itself into reality because when they research it, the evidence of what they expect to find or want to find comes back to them. A good example of this is what the new Godzilla versus King Kong. It's called Kong versus Godzilla, I guess, on HBO. And so it's all the HBO stuff now. It says you get it for free if you're an HBO, whatever you pay, $15 or $17 a month. You get it for free if you're just a HBO member, but it's available to you the very day it's in theaters. Now, I'll talk about a completely crafted fake society. I mean, wouldn't the all of the if anything were real, I have to add this one to the book, the 50 or 80 page if the world were real section. All of the movie theater chains would band together, and in one, I guess they're all going out of business anyway, but if there was one desperate attempt to hold on to their business model, again, I think all these businesses are tied in together. The huge names are all tied in together in ways we don't realize, and they're all getting financial bailouts. There would be 50 big companies that'd be under by now, and nobody's gone under. So that's a conversation left for another time. But the point is, they would all band together, and they would say, we're up against it here, studios. If you put a movie out for free into people's homes on HBO Max the day it's released into our theater, we're never showing another movie again. We'll just all agree to go under because we're going to go on. You're putting us out of business. They would all just say there's just no way you're going to do that to us. And that the model is, of course, to when HBO is releasing movies the day it's released in the theater, and they've done that now on 5 or 6 major movies. Obviously, the whole movie theater model's gone. It will there won't be a movie theater in a year or two. Exactly how that serves them, I don't know. I don't know. But the point is, Kong versus Godzilla. They absolutely want to insert into reality a new concept about the Earth. You have to just trust me on this. The way it's presented in the movie. We have, of course, what do we have? The light beer from Miller, the less filling versus taste great debate for the last 10 years in the truth community is what your guy down the cul-de-sac thinks. It's a Stephen Hawking heliocentric solar system, and there's circles and globes. And then I don't want to banner ad. I'm trying to talk around it. I don't want to banner ad. Like my man B got about a week ago. He didn't even mention we'll call it the splat turf. I guess we'll just say splat turf, like Wile E. Coyote in Roadrunner, the splat turf versus the Neil deGrasse Tysons. He didn't even mention the splat turf. I'm not making fun of those researchers. I can't say it. I don't want a banner ad. He didn't even mention that it wasn't even his video wasn't even about it was about the Suez Canal. It wasn't even about that topic. And they put a big banner ad underneath directing people away from the misinformation about people that talk about the splat earth. Well, anyway, that debate's been going on for how long now? And we've always, somebody might be saying to me, Matt, we've heard of hollow Earth and toroidal and different, but not pushed into the mainstream the way Kong versus Gorilla. Kong versus Gorilla. Kong versus Godzilla. Sorry. It wasn't like introduced like it was. They almost said it like it was like a given. Like this is a theory that a lot of people accept. They keep talking about the hollow Earth. Oh yeah, so of course Kong is a Titan or has Titan origins, and that's from the Hollow Earth. They relate Titan to it as well, and it's not like it. And never in the movie do they say, "What are you talking about?" There's a theory where these creatures are coming up from the. No, it's like a given. It's like the Hollow Earth, the Hollow. So I'm gonna get a banner ad about that probably because I've said it so much. But the way I'm not saying this the right way, guys, but the way Kong versus Godzilla presents it, Kong versus Gorilla presents it, and it's also riddled with other things to kind of jab the truth community. The 33 pops up a few times. The one of the main characters in the movie is he's like it's supposed to be people like me, a podcaster, a YouTuber that has all these wild fringe ideas. They have the girl from Stranger Things in there, and I guess so. What? Getting back to the main point, the movie's put out. It's a big movie. You have hundreds of thousands of people around the world in a relatively short period of time thinking about, in some way, manifesting Hollow Earth, Hollow Earth. Some people might go investigate it. And what I'm saying is, what Gus is saying here is, what Gus is saying is, this research or whatever they're going to go find is somehow inserted by reality itself, artificially, supernaturally, in ways we don't understand. There's no way that you can have all these different types of conspiracy. I list many of them out in the presentation I'm going to give. And then in each case, there is, at least somewhat credible evidence. There's people who are not just all crazy. So somebody that wants to, I just, I don't know much about the topic, research the hollow, the hollow Earth that's presented in Kong versus Godzilla. They're going to find, the Antarctica is also brought back in the movie Kong versus Godzilla. And then they're going to find things about, the entrance to the Hollow Earth. And then Admiral Byrd's going to be pulled into it again. And they'll chase that conspiracy. And, by the way, the Admiral Byrd stuff, guys, I mean, give me a break. That is so, I mean, I don't think most people here would believe in that. That is such first grade peed on breadcrumbs for first grade truthers. Admiral Byrd, come on, man. We're way past. I know we're way past that. Hopefully, but the presentation, I need to cut it back. It will be tomorrow or Thursday, and it will be geared to you guys, of course, but also equally geared to somebody who's a conspiracy researcher in another field, like aliens or whatever it might be, where I want them to see, like, you're just following a bunch of breadcrumbs artificially created by the reality as well. We're all kind of being played, used, and abused. I mentioned that many times in the presentation. I guess a following presentation, or what we need to figure out, is exactly, how they are playing, using us, and abusing us, but exactly what do they get, or even the reality itself, whatever darkness is associated with this reality that pulls reality buttons and levers, what do they get out of it? And if anybody's saying along the lines of, you know creating helping to create the negativity, helping to harden the cement on dark thoughts, creating the hell, and we manifest it back out for them. That would be my leading theory. They basically just plant seeds into us, and we somehow manifest it out the way that they want, and we have to stop playing right into their hands. And this message, if you guys buy it, but don't. I'm a little all over the place. I know Bootsy right now is getting all her teeth pulled, so we're doing that this morning with the vet. But so I'm a little all over the place. But wait, before you say this is absolutely crazy, wait to hear my full presentation, which is more professional. Few jokes, but more professional and more well laid out than me just doing this all over the place. But somebody, by the way, I never keep my cell phone with me, but they could call at any time for whatever reason. Hopefully, it's a simple teeth pulling. The first vet, she's getting these sinus infections. She's old. We got them from the nursing home. Sinus infection, antibiotic, sinus infection, antibiotic, sinus. Just keep going on and on. So went to my vet. That was Pam's vet. Went to my vet. Immediately was like, well, obviously these sinus infections are from rotting teeth. I'm just sharing this in case it ever happens to anybody watching, a dog or cat. Rotting teeth will cause infections in other part of the body. The first thing, any sort of infection where antibiotic cures it, you want to check the teeth on an animal, because it's just a bacteria factory. She's like, these teeth have to go. So she saw it immediately. Where Pam's other vet was like, antibiotic, antibiotic. Didn't put two and two together. So cats they can eat anything, even with all the teeth pulled. They'll learn to gum, kibble, and everything. So it'll be tough for a couple weeks, but hopefully this problem will finally go away. And somebody, by the way, just the cell phone. A couple people didn't believe that I still, and a certain family member didn't believe that I still have well, it's 10 or 11 or 12 years old. I don't know, but it works for me. I mean, it's like a 10, I'll just say 10, I don't know. It's a 10-year-old flip phone. And I'm going to hold back. I don't think you can put an M passport on this. I don't think that, but what would it do me anyway? I'm not, I'm going to be rejected anyway because I'm a leper. And I'm going to try to remain a leper as long as I possibly can. But if I can, who can, right? What do I have to answer to? A few cats, and I don't go anywhere or do anything anyway. So anyway, guys, the presentation. I wanted to get out to other parts of the conspiracy community, people interested in other areas, because I want them to say, yeah, all this stuff on even inside aliens by itself, you have 10 different subcategories. Area 51, malevolent aliens, benevolent aliens, aliens that are shepherding humanity because they see humanity as sea monkeys, and they're through their infant period, they're watching from the sidelines, and they're helping, or they're hurting, and the reptilians, they're feeding off loose. You might have 100 different categories inside. No real world could do this. No real world could pull this off. It's a joke. Yeah, Tommy, just do the. Also have movie references where a theme in many movies is just you've had enough. I talk about Jumanji again. People have. I talk about. Well, I guess I'll leave it for the presentation. Let's just do Jumanji. You people have had enough. You just. I guess I might have talked about it in the last presentation. But Robin Williams just turns around. He's like, the hunter's like, "Aren't you afraid?" No, I'm just tired of running. I'm sick of it. Sick of this horse shit. Do what you need to do, dude. Do what you need to do. Of course, then Hunter's like, don't you want to run from me? It's like Ray Liotta, fear me, in not Shooter, Revolver. Shooter's that lame movie with Mark Wahlberg. He's another guy. He's just like Matt Damon. He just plays himself. He's more likable. I like, but I can't stand him after what he did about playing that Boston role. What a fraud he turned out to be. But well, like, why wouldn't he be a fraud? But I'm just saying, I don't know. He's been in some roles where I kind of want to like him more than Matt Damon for some reason. But yeah, he just plays himself in every role too. He has no acting range other than himself. Just like Matt Damon just plays himself. Anybody see Great Wall? How horrible is that? I heard. I haven't seen it. So guys, I guess I lost my train of thought, but that's what the big presentation is about. Oh, I know, it's Jumanji, and he's facing the hunter, and he's like, I'm not doing this anymore. That's where I am. I think a lot of you are getting there. I'm not doing this anymore. Reality, go. I'm not chasing your shit anymore. Shove it up your unit. You shoot if you have to shoot, and then he drops the dice, and the dice is rolling as he's going through this process. And then so once he faces his fear, very interesting in the movie, he rolls the exact roll he needs for Jumanji and wins the game. So the theory I propose in the presentation is, would it have stopped on the die roll that he needed if he didn't face his fear and say, I'm not afraid anymore? And I'm saying that there was a relationship there in the way the movie presents that. They wouldn't have done it that way. He absolutely needed to address and face the fear. Then he rolled Jumanji and won. If he was still running, he wouldn't have rolled Jumanji and won anything. He'd still be in Jumanji right now as we speak, running from the hunter perpetually forever. And so I talk in the presentation about lessons like that flow out of, we believe these types of universal truths flow out of all types of art. So tomorrow or Thursday, guys, it's the most important presentation I've ever put out. If you believe it or understand where I'm trying to take people or get people to see the reality in a certain way, it could be the most important thing I've ever done. So I'm not going to rush it. I guess I'm not even sure it'll be tomorrow, but it will be Thursday at the absolute latest, and it will go out on Free Voice. So there's no issues at all. And then I'll probably talk about it again on YouTube. And we'll go through the comment section here, see if people are generally agreeing with the way I see this reality playing games with us or not. And of course, it will evolve over time. I don't have it all figured out, but we do need a new approach. The same old bullcrap we're all getting sick of it. Thanks, guys.